Good afternoon. I am speaking to you from Cranbrook, BC, and my name is Gary Toyota. And a little bit about my background. I'm an old 75 years, and I have a family and married with three children, one in Calgary, two here in Cranbrook. And passions, it's probably, I was a school administrator, school teacher for 34 years, and my passions today are the Bible. I'm very much into, I do a little bit of church preaching and that kind of things. My medical history, I was a rather boring individual for most of my life, and then we would go back to Uganda. My daughter had a ministry in Uganda, and I had the pleasure of baptizing 17 teenagers in the Nile River. And while I was in the Nile River, the river gave me a little memento. It was a parasite called schistosomiasis. And schisto, also called bilharzia, it got into me, and it apparently liked my kidney, and it chewed away on my kidney. It caused me problems. So I came back to Canada, and I had problems. I just had general problems. I went to Calgary, here in Cranbrook and then to Calgary. They tried to figure out what it was, but because they don't know too much about tropical diseases, they never really checked into tropical diseases. I mentioned that I thought perhaps I had a parasite, but they didn't check that out. So I was probably a year in, and they did not diagnose the parasite. When they finally did, they got me on anti drugs, and then they put me on a very high dose of 81 milligrams of prednisone I was on that for about a year and a half, and it really did a number on me. It just caused me all kinds of problems, back and forth to hospital. And so here I am, and then I finally decided my kidney function was failing, and I went to trail, and that was where I began my life on dialysis. And initially I was on hospital dialysis 3 times a week. And then after a while, they put me on peritoneal dialysis, and I got the training in trail. And all in all, it didn't disrupt my life too much. I would go to the hospital 3 times a week and about 4 hours a session, but it wasn't too much of a problem. And I had all kinds of other problems. I had 9 different kinds of surgical procedures while I was on prednisone, and then I got into hospital, and I had surgical procedures to put in the lines and various other things. So that was basically my introduction to kidney problems, and I'll just pause it there. I'm finished session 1. Oh, let me continue.
Are you done, Gary?
Sure. So I've just given an introduction and talked about to my